Why'd you give my baby up for adoption, Alicia?
Because you were here, you were in jail. I don't want to be a single mother by myself.
Alicia, I was gone 10 months, and my baby was just born a month ago.
Well, I want to live my life, like I just told you. I didn't know how long you was going to be in jail. I wanted to be outside, be in the streets, travel, get a bag, and I can't do that with no child, and you in prison.
Alicia, I am his sole father. I didn't get no decision to make that.
No, you don't. When you threw your life away to be in jail, you don't get no type of agreement, communication, nothing. So I gave the baby away.
Alicia,
Baby is adopted.
put your shoes on. We finna go get my child. Like, what? This don't make no sense.
Where do you think we're gonna go?
What do you mean, where we gonna go? He ain't at no child's office. He ain't at no defects. Where he at?
The baby is adopted.
You don't know what adopted means? But do you think that's well, we all know that's not a treasure. So I don't even know why I was going to ask that. So what are y'all thoughts? What are your thoughts on that video?
Well, I think that I think it's a skit, right? Because ain't no way.
You think it's a skit?
Yeah. If somebody would have told me that I don't think it would have went that way. It wouldn't have been that smooth of a conversation if you gave away my child. You know, I don't care how long I was in jail. You gave away. And I thought that unless she just said he didn't have a father, don't both parents got to sign off for
Absolutely.
For it to be an adoption?
It depends on the state. So it would definitely depend on the state. Because there's some
the fact if he's locked up, does that make a difference too?
No, you still
let me look it up.
And so, but the whole assuming this, so it's difficult for me to answer this because I don't think the majority of women are giving their kids away.
They're not.
So I don't think it's a realistic representation. But in order to go into the topic, for somebody to do that, that would be one of the most selfish things possible. And I think it's an indication of how far people have fallen from what really matters. And if trips and bags is more important than your kid, you so far removed from what life is about that I don't know if it's going to be any help for you. You know what I mean? I don't know how you come back from being in that place.
Believe it or not, I'm a little torn between the two. Do I think she was wrong? Absolutely. I would not have done that. But the flip side that I'm thinking about is because that's the way that she wanted to live, it was clear that she didn't want any children. So trying to force somebody to parent will definitely impact the kid. And then the flip side is he wanted his kid, then that makes me think, what kind of father would he be? He's locked up. Now I don't know what he was locked up for. And I can really say, I don't know what kind of father he would have been. We're talking about prejudging, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what kind of father he would have been, but looking at that situation, father's locked up, don't know how long he's going to be locked up. She knocked up. He locked up, she got knocked up. And now I'm here trying to be forced to be a parent when I know I'm not going to be a responsible parent. I don't want to be a parent, period. Now, do I think there's alternatives that she could have did? She had the baby, like you said, if this wasn't a skit, I think she had the option of at least saying, asking his people, did they want to adopt a kid or did they want to take the kid? So that definitely could have been an option. But the part that I'm most concerned about is a lot of times women are forced to have kids that they don't want to, and then that impacts the child because they don't have a good parent.
So and this goes into the trophy versus treasure topic. So even if it's a skit, this could be a real life situation for somebody, I did look it up. If you are incarcerated, that does forfeit your rights, unfortunately, in some states. So my thing is this. And this is where it goes back to the baby mama, the baby daddy conversation. We are asking a woman to be a bigger person in the situation, right? We're asking a woman to say, hey, let me consider you and let me contact your family to make sure that they don't want the kid. Because that would take a big person to say, let me look at all angles of this. I don't want the kid. Let me call his family and see. Because she could be like, nigga, you come from a no good family. That's why you in jail. Like, why would I want my kid to be raised in that situation? You know, I'd rather pick a better situation for my kid to be raised in. So there are different ways of saying this. But what I'm saying to you is, I think oftentimes we put women in a situation where we feel that like they should be the more responsible individual, not realizing that women are just as irresponsible in their decision making as some men are. You know, and I think that we give some women way too much credit for that. Like, if she did assess the situation and she felt like that would be a mess up situation for her kid, you know, I don't have a problem with it. But if she did not, if it was a situation where it was just a fluke, he got in trouble and it's not a normal thing, he has great parents, then I agree. But again, you're asking her to be the bigger person in the situation.
I don't think he asked her to be a bigger person. I think we have an assumption that shows nurturing will most times prevent you from just giving your child away. I mean, before I give a child, I wouldn't give no child away, first off. But if I did, I would exhaust all the possible avenues. And I wouldn't say that just ask her to be a bigger person. I would think that's just asking her to be a parent, right?
Well, in her mind, she may think she's being a parent.
No, she couldn't have thought she was being a parent. She thought she was going on trips and buying bags, according to that skit. Like, it's stuff that I'd be like, all falls on the man, right? He shouldn't have went to jail. But this 100%, I would assume, like, so are we saying women don't have a nurturing spirit?
Not all.
Not all. I mean, key point. She gave her kid away and she don't even like she care. Like,
and you know how many cases there are of women who've killed their children. Like, you know, it doesn't mean that some of them I do believe have had, like, you know, depression and stuff like that. But there are women that do not want children, but they end up having children and then take it out on the kids. And that's why I'm saying in that situation, like my, you know, husband, he worked in DFACS and he had to leave. That was part of why he could not stay in that field, because he's going to these houses and I think while he was working, it was like two babies that, like, young kid that died. And he was like, I cannot, because you can't just leave. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then that would come home. So not everybody is meant to be a parent. Just because you can get pregnant and have kids does not mean that you automatically are parent material. Just like when you get married, I mean, it doesn't mean the dude is husband material. Doesn't mean the girl is wife material. You know what I'm saying? Just because you have the title doesn't mean that you play the role right.
I agree.
If I'm not mistaken, he said that he was only in there so many months. So it made me 10 months. So it made me think the way he presented it, that she knew it was a short-term thing.
So the second part about this whole situation is we don't know the backstory, right? We don't know if they separated in between the pregnancy, because we know sometimes that happens. We don't know if he's just popping up. She just did, like, she's really cute. She just didn't know when, you know, they may have fallen out. We don't have nothing to do with each other. You went to jail. Sometimes people have a larger sentence than they serve. You know what I'm saying? When they got sentenced, it was a larger time span than with, you know, the time served. They may be like, okay, early parole or whatever it's called. So we just don't know. It's so many variables that are missing from the equation. But
she did say, I didn't know how long you were going to be in there. She did say that.
Right. So there's so many variables that are missing in this equation. Okay. So I was just answering that, but go ahead if you have anything else you want to say, Pat.
Well, y'all hear that? That doorbell? Does it sound like a home run in?
No.
All right. Nah, it's just hard for me not to put that, like, so one of the responsibilities that I do put on women is motherhood. Like I just assign that to women, and when you shrug that, when people be like, you want to hold women accountable, motherhood is one of the things I feel like they should be held accountable for, to the same extent, if not more, than a father. So, you don't like that mistaken, huh?
I just think that you're giving women.
It's easier for you guys to, like you said, walk away. But again, like I said, it does, just because you're able to carry a child doesn't necessarily mean that you're ready to be a mother, or that you have a mother instinct, or that you have nurturing. It may not mean it. Like, to me, that's just the same as you saying, if you knock a woman up and you get somebody pregnant, half of that child is yours. Do you automatically go into father mode? It doesn't automatically make you a good dad or a father. So it's the same thing. It doesn't matter that the child is growing in you if you already knew, I never wanted to be a mother. That doesn't change.
I think it's, aren't chemicals released that make you bond with the child while it's in your body?
But people, listen to this. It's surrogates who give away kids all the time. Even though that kid is not produced theirs, they're holding the body. They're producing this kid in their body for 9 months, right? That's why when you give a child for adoption, they won't even show you the kid because they don't want you to get a bond with the kid. They'll just take the kid away from you real fast, right? Because they don't want you to change your mind. Think about old school when it was a taboo to have a kid out of wedlock, right? And so parents took the kid away or sent you off to a boarding school. And when you came, you had the kid was taken away sometimes, you know? So this is not new stuff. This ain't new. It's people out here giving up kids for adoption. That's why sometimes that's why adoptions exist. I'm going to give you to a better family because I'm not really able to prepare for, motherhood or fatherhood or whatever it is that's going on.
So with all the available preventative measures for pregnancy, I don't know, like she just got to hold that L, because there's so many different things she could have done before she brought that baby to term.
But in you saying that she got to hold that L, she's not. What I'm trying to tell you is the kid is going to be the one that hold that L.
Yeah.
And I think when you're like, I know a lot of people from the outside looking in and be like, oh, she's so selfish. Oh my God. She just want to get the bag. She just want to, go out on flights or whatever. Just that mindset alone lets you know that she should not be a parent. So I think that was more selfless from that perspective. Selfless from that perspective, knowing that if she was going to be the parent, guess what? She was going to still do that anyway and leave that kid somewhere else that may not have been a good environment, that kid is going to be impacted by wherever she decides to leave him or her, and still live her life. And that kid is going to suffer. That kid is going to be the one that catch the L. So in that regard, giving the child away to a parent or parents that are willing to love and raise that kid as their own is a better decision. I know it's hard to hear, but that kid will grow up in a better situation versus staying with a mom that doesn't want to be a mom.
And you know what's so crazy? I know two situations. I just heard, and you can Google this. This is in YouTube. It was a woman just last week got arrested for leaving her kid, her baby, 3 years old, dead because she went on a vacation and left that baby in the house by herself for 10 days to fend for herself. And you're telling me that's better than giving that kid up for adoption? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have a girl who used to cheer on my squad. She was, now Lord, please, I hope I'll put no business at it. She was put up for adoption. And I asked her about her birth mom. She said, Miss Pitts, I'm just glad my family adopted me because my mama is on some stuff. Okay. You have to think, y'all thinking too much about this, like, oh, the mother's supposed to take care. Sometimes they're just not able to. And you got to think about the kid.
It's unfortunate that in my profession, we had so many children that were abused And a lot of it had to do with the fact that the mother just did not have the capacity, mental issues, different things, poverty, different reasons why they should have probably given up their child, but they kept them for check for whatever reason, even though the check was not even enough to really take care of a child, but they took all of the resources that they did get and spent it on themselves, left their children unattended, they abused the children, they allowed people to come into the house to rape children, all types of things are happening. So regardless of her motive, she was not, even though I believe it was a skit, I'm like Marcus, regardless of her motive, she did the right thing because she did not have the right attitude to raise a child. Now, should she have given the father an opportunity to take the child or another one of his relatives? We don't know what his family situation was. She could have felt like, look, this is the life he going in and out of jail. That may not have been his first time. They may have been his first time. She might have been looking at everybody in his family has went to jail. It's just so many things. But the bottom line is she is the person that gave birth to this child. And she was the person that decided, I do not want this child. And who wants to be with somebody who actually don't want them?
So by that logic, is it okay for a father to abandon his child?
It's not okay. It's not okay for her to do it either. But it is better if you're not going to be the parent that you're supposed to be. It is better for you to both abandon the child and let them. That's why they changed the laws where you now can drop your kid off, no questions answered. Fire station, hospitals, safe places, no questions asked. And people are taking advantage of it. Now, we also had, I think 2 weeks ago, we had where they dumped the baby in the trash can. So rather than take this baby to a safe place, they decided, I'm just going to leave the baby.